Our team it's week two. You're disappointed. Our locker room was a blend of disappointment in South Bend, but also of understanding we're different than we were a year ago, and we are. But to prove that we're a good football team, you don't prove it by playing well and playing well against a great opponent. You prove it by winning. And what this team has to do is put the bumps and the bruises behind you. The week one to week two improvement is there for you, depending upon how much energy you have and the effort you put into the preparation. I do think that there's a different feel for our team now that you've played a game. I think really most of August, there were a lot of them that really weren't sure we were going to play. Even on into the first part of the week last week, they were not sure. Now that you've played and they're excited about playing and we've got an opportunity to get back on the practice field, I think our preparation will really be outstanding. Boston College, we know very little about, new staff, haven't played a game. All we can do is do the research, the work, prepare our team as well as we possibly can. We know it'll be another physical game against a very physical team, both fronts, offensively and defensively with Boston College. We do know their personnel is extremely physical. They've had a few grad transfers come in there to increase that physicality in the defensive front. So we're looking forward to another ACC football game. Every week you're playing conference football and you better play at a high level.
All right, let's kick things off with Tom Shanahan.
Hi, Coach. Am I good? Can you hear me?
Yes, I certainly can.
Great.
Good job, Tom.
Hey, I noticed, as a sign of respect for the performance, I noticed your votes among the coaches poll went up to 12. Although the writers didn't give you any votes. I wonder if you take anything from that, gaining some respect.
Well, I had a number of coaches, text me, and I think they saw a good football team in Duke, and I think that's legitimate. And again, to stay there, to get votes, or to have someone consider you to be a really good football team, you got to win. But I don't think there's any question. I think people realize the ability that this Notre Dame team has. I think this Notre Dame team's better than they were a year ago. So, I don't like coming close. I like playing well. We did play well. We didn't play well enough to win, but certainly think we earned some consideration there.
Great. I'll have another question later if Art will let me in. Thanks, Coach.
Maybe. All right, let's go to Mike Barber.
Morning, David. I wanted to ask, I know it's a little bit looking ahead, but the decision to move the UVA game, how does that impact you? How will that impact your staff? And were you consulted at all on that decision?
Well, I was kind of asked to confirm it. Happened late Friday night. I did not see it coming because I'm not, listening to reports and didn't know exactly why initially. But I said, if that's what we have to do, we can do it. I chose not to tell our staff or players because we're getting ready to play Notre Dame. And the next morning, it's interesting, we're going to have to learn to adjust. There's no question. It could happen again. But the next morning, I'm going into our pregame meal, and, today people have their phones out. All they're talking about is the change of the Virginia game. And I had no idea that it was going to be released by the ACC. And my suggestion is that we wait till Sunday to release those changes out of a respect to teams and staffs that are preparing to play a game. Now, yes, it does put a lot of work in. We always work 2 weeks out in preparation of an opponent. But what it also does for us is it puts us with another opener, where we have no film of an upcoming opponent to have played a game. So we'll have 3 opening games in a row, which is unique to say the least. And we've got great respect for Coach Mendenhall and the Virginia program, and we may know a little bit more about them, but it's still uniquely different. But hey, it's 2020, so we just keep moving forward.
Thank
Jim Sumner.
Hi, David. I want to ask you about the running game. Acknowledging that Notre Dame hopefully has the best defensive threat you'll face all year. After promising opening drive, didn't get much done on the ground. Certainly didn't get what you'd hoped and expected. What went wrong Saturday, and how do you get that fixed this Saturday?
Yeah, I think certainly it's always going to be a part of blocking and seeing holes. I think part of it, I think we missed some opportunities out there, left some yards on the field, particularly in our draw game, our counter game. I thought we ran the stretch pretty well, but I really think we left some yards on the field where if we finish blocks or see holes. But, Jim, I would say a big part of that is we've had very little live running the football, and the environment we've had for camp and the circumstances that have been put upon us, the way you get better and better, and I think we're going to run the ball well this year, but the way you get better at running the football is doing it, and it's got to be some of it live to get your timing, and so I think we learned a little bit more about ourselves, and we'll be better this week than we were a week ago.
Let's go to Aaron Beard.
Hey, David, I was curious when you went back and looked at the film, just from an overall offensive standpoint, kind of how you thought the changes with, Chase coming in and this new play caller guy that probably has a pretty short leash with you. Just in general, though, how you thought things went after you had some time to step back from the game.
Yeah, I thought Chase played really well under a difficult circumstance. You're playing a really good team, a lot of challenging front pressure, coverage. He made some great throws. I thought we did mix it in and out, move the ball around, get the ball on the perimeter, tried to get the ball downfield. I think if we would have run the ball a little bit better, it would probably have opened up some things for us. I don't think we handled their pressure quite as well as I thought we would have. I can help. Anytime you're a play caller, you can always help with anticipation of pressure and putting yourself in a position to be successful. But I really do think top to bottom, we played well enough to win on offense. I think the second half, we fatigued a little bit, which, you have to address with the circumstances we've had trying to get yourself there. We've been here working since July 14th, and you can't do it all at one time because you're worried about soft tissue injuries, pulls, hamstrings, all of the above. And so I think as we get in better and better shape, we'll be better offensively. But for the most part, I was very pleased with our talent, our physicality, and our ability to make some plays.
Thanks, David.
All right, let's go to Casey Hintz.
David, as you just mentioned, you felt that Chase played well on Saturday, but both you and him leading up to the game said that he really started feeling comfortable in the offense just barely 2 weeks prior to Saturday's game. So just between specifically week 1 and week 2, what would the steps you would like to see him taking?
Well, I don't think there's any question. What's happened with him is about 8 days before, that he becomes number one, and we didn't get enough live scrimmaging with him as the number one quarterback. And, just getting a feel for the timing, the mechanism, the progression that we have in the passing game, the pre-snap reads will be better. I think right now he's starting to feel ownership of the offense. And that's what you have to do as a starting quarterback. It's got to become yours. You got to be the owner. And I think, he's well on his way to becoming that. But I thought he played like a quarterback. And I thought, he made throws that are just big-time throws. And he made some great decisions out there. And then the other part of it, that you can't make mistakes, with the football. What we call ball security has got to be the premium for every snap as a quarterback.
Thank you.
All right, let's go to Chip Alexander. Chip, we can't hear you. So, slide on over to JB Ricks.
Hey, Coach, thanks as always for taking out the time. I just have a simple question about your thoughts on the atmosphere that you saw up there in South Bend, because it's a contrast compared to what was going on with the football games here in the state of North Carolina, which really had no fans at all, but it just kind of was a sight to see from my perspective how many people were in the stands at that game. Well, did you have any thoughts about that, and what are your thoughts about fans being in the stands moving forward for this fall?
Right. I think that's a great question. I've been in that stadium. We played there from when I've been at Duke, when I've been at Tennessee. When it's full, it's crazy. But I honestly was surprised and energized by the amount of people. I thought there were more people than advertised. I don't know if they listed the number of tickets sold and let students in free, but there was some band element there. It felt like a football game, and they had people in the entire rim. So you did feel somewhat normal with the piped-in noise. I think in pregame when the stadium was empty, the piped-in noise was different. So I don't know what it's going to be like here with that same scenario. I hate it for fans. I would love for our fans to be a part of that's college football at its best. And so whatever could be safely done, you certainly hope that it could be done at some point. But the bottom line is people have to prove that they're going to stay masked and they're going to stay distanced and do what's asked of them to get that opportunity. So it's obviously not my decision, but oh yes, we love seeing fans in the stadium.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Let's go to Jay Piazza.
Hi, Coach. I just had a question on Mark Gilbert, how you guys felt he looked in his first game back in about 2 years.
Mark was smiling on Friday and smiling on Saturday. He and I had a couple of times to talk. I know he was thrilled to be back out there. I thought he played well. His coverage skills are outstanding. He really wasn't rusty. He got into the physical fray, which we've had him do some live contact here in camp, not as much as you would like, but got some. But I thought he did really well, and I think he got a little banged up early and was not going to come out of that game. He told me this: I'm not coming out. I'm going to finish. So he's okay. It looks like he's going to bounce right back, and I think he'll be much better this week than he was the first week, because you get that nervousness. The butterflies will be somewhat gone this week.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, reluctantly, we're going to go back to Tom Shanahan.
Thanks, Art. Hey, Coach, I know a lot of schools wore maybe Black Lives Matter T-shirts or had some kind of generic decal on their helmet, but I thought you guys had a pretty impressive and bold statement with the black D and then the fist on the back. Was that a staff decision, part of a player committee input, or how did that come about?
That's been our players. We've let them have, and we've tried to have guidelines, a lot of conversation with our players, all of our players input, not just our players of color, but every one of our players. And that's a vote for their teammates. That's a strong feeling of unity, and that's how you grow in any difficult time. You do it together. And so to honor our teammates of color, the black Ds, it will be worn all year long. We had a logo on the back with the Iron D with the black fist in it, and I don't know exactly what happened in production, but again, that is not representing any organizations or anything. It's representing the strength of our teammates and our belief that black lives do matter. The players have T-shirts that they wear that says Duke football believes that black lives matter. And the difference of what we have, if you see one, is you have a black fist and a white fist forming our Bull City logo. So it's about us. It's about our thoughts, our beliefs, and our togetherness as we continue to move forward.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
All All right, let's go back to Aaron Beard.
Sorry, I'm good. Thanks.
Those are the best questions. All right, back to Jim Sumner.
David, I know how high priority you place on special teams play. You took two redshirt freshmen, South Bend, first game of the season on the road against a top 10 team, and they both performed exceptionally well. Can you talk about their development in fall camp and how that the implications for that as the season progresses?
You know, it's not going to always work out to be this ideal. I've always liked the ability to redshirt a specialist for a year. College football is so different. Place kickers kicking off the ground, just the elements, the intensity of the game, the punter, the tempo of the punt, getting it off in 2.0 or less is unique to a punter that's only punted in high school. So I thought they've done a great job all their redshirt year in getting themselves ready. And we've given them a lot of live work in that regard. They're very, very talented. When we had both of them in camp, if I could have done a backflip, I would have done, on both cases, a backflip, being that excited about their ability. So I would say this, I really believe this, that knock on wood, the best is yet to come for those two.